You often say that external events actually occur within the person himself. That which happens on the inside is a kind of a projection from within of your inner states. Yes. You remember when there were different events going on in the world, like fires in Russia or events in Europe? Yes. What does it actually mean? How is it possible to associate this with myself? How does it work? Well, we can't clearly say what does it correspond inside us, outside us, because we don't know neither the inner nor the external structure, and all the more we don't know the connection between the spiritual world and our world. Thus, no point in putting your efforts into guessing because it won't give us anything. We're simply told to improve our qualities, and by this, we'll make the world in general better, and these problems will disappear. You can't selectively work on the world. I don't want to be there any fires in Israel, and I don't care about what's going on in Russia. You mustn't even think in that direction. But necessarily, first and foremost, think about how are others doing, because your external attributes, those that exist in others, they're actually your just attributes. And that's what we learn. That which exists within a person himself, that's his animalistic part, and his spiritual part is that which is outside him, in others. Meaning the entire external nature, still vegetative, animate, and humanity outside of me, all those are parts of my soul. And the way I feel my existence now, that's my transient body that will rot and nothing will be left from it. Thus, if I'll think about the external, that which is happening outside of me, and especially on the human level, not on the still vegetative inanimate, but on the human level outside of me. Thus, I'll actually eventually care more for my soul, about my just part. And I already talked about it. It's expressed very well in our prayers. When we pray, in a prayer, there's a defined number of words that say that we're praying for those and those and those and those. In short, everything in the world, and in the end, for us too. For ourselves is the last word. And that's how everything has to be built. And that's how we have to behave. And to choose what's more or less important for me, that's incorrect. Although, of course, the way we see it, I understand how a person looks at what's around him, what's going on around him. If he's in Russia, about what's going on there. If he's here, then he looks at what's going on here. In Israel or in Europe, you have blizzards or floods, or in America, all the different problems. Of course, if we'll look at things that way, we'll achieve nothing. But eventually we see that humanity more and more finds itself in mutual problems, such that concern everyone. Today you have a problem, tomorrow I'll have that problem, and it repeats itself very frequently. And there's no way of getting rid of these problems, only together. And thus, Providence pushes us towards unification. If you don't want to bond through the good, I'll unite you through bad things, and we'll see it. When borders will be erased as a result of earthquakes, people will have to leave their place of living and move someplace, and there won't be any possibility to do anything about it. And the government, if there will be such catastrophic ecological states, the government can't do anything about it. Meaning, if we don't want to do it, then the Creator will do it His way. But we have to understand that only good comes from him, and we, through our attributes that are opposite to him, invert his good influence into bad. And that's how it already realizes within us in an inverted form in our feelings, sensations, and our perception of reality. Well, if it all happens in our perception of reality, then you as a Kabbalist, you see it completely differently. You see it as something good. Why are you suffering about it then? Because people are suffering. What do you mean? People are suffering. People are burning. People are dying. People are suffering, men, women, elderly, everyone. And those who are happy about it. I saw they showed some groups in the Ukraine happy about what happened in Russia, or the Arabs when there was the fire in Israel. They bring great harm upon themselves, meaning they're simply shooting themselves in the foot. They don't understand it yet, of course, but as a result, this organic evil is accumulating that will have to really thoroughly go through them in order to cure them from that evil. So that hate of man towards man, people towards people, it eventually... Look what's going on with Russia. To this day, they can't correct and won't correct in the near future. They won't come out of all their problems, and they can't build anything, neither a government, nor a regime, nor a normal society, because they wanted to rule other nations. They overtook them and suppressed them, and look what it led them to. They're worse off than anyone else. The other countries, somehow, they manage in building themselves after the entire dismantlement of the USSR, and only Russia can't come out of it, and to this day are standing in the way and disturbing others, and as a result, they'll have bad things for the future to come. And the same will happen with other countries and nations. Justice will come. It's embedded in nature, only that it doesn't appear coercively and immediately, but to the extent to which we can acknowledge our cruel attributes and gradually correct them, or want them to be corrected. But all those enemies, those haters, they don't do it on purpose. Nature moves them. True, yeah. Why are they killing themselves then? Because they subjugate themselves to that nature. I'm not blaming them, actually. I'm simply showing that, nonetheless, it will all happen this way. Of course, neither Lenin, nor Stalin, nor Trotsky, nor anyone else in Russia, neither Hitler and all the others, they weren't great Kabbalists to know that they're going against nature, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nonetheless, the forces of evil will have to invert themselves into the forces of good, turn themselves into the forces of good. But this change, this switch, will undergo very severely. That's called the war of Gog and Magog, the war of Armageddon. So how to relate to this? I accept it as all happening outside of me. You're saying that it's all happening inside. And I have to change my attitude, actually, and not they that suppress Israel or laugh at Israel. Who has to change his attitude? Well, you say that only good comes, only that I see it in its inverted form. I see it as suffering. So What's the problem then? So the problem's actually in me. Of course, you have to change your attitude, and then everything will change. And perception of reality will change, and reality will be different. And instead of burning, things will be flourishing, because from above comes light, not fire. And if we can't accept it in ourselves, the chasadim, the attribute of bestowal, then it turns into fire. So, how does it happen then? Why beat up everyone if I'm the only one that has to engage in it? We're a common mutual system. My dear fellow, we're all interdependent, even the Kabbalists, any people. Corrected, uncorrected, half-corrected, we're all a part of the same system. When some part of a single body is uncorrected, then all the organs suffer. We comprise one single soul, one creation created by the Creator. But you already accept things with this added value. You see, so to speak, things happening in their good way, in a good form. I see it as a correction, but unfortunately, that happens in a way that's not good for people. Of course, it's all a correction, but these are very, very bad corrections. It's like you bring a child to something good, but through blows, and he does it. He does whatever is needed, but through blows. Meaning, when the upper providence works for him, and it's not he himself who acknowledges it. Well, on the one hand, you say that nonetheless, people will have to... there are two opinions. That people without suffering won't feel the need to correct. Suffering could be love suffering. When I suffer as a result of not being corrected yet, that I'm not connected with others, that I did not yet reveal the Creator, that's the kind of suffering that has to be. Why suffer that something's burning outside my house and a second my house will burn down? I have to grab the people, run, and not know what to do. That's the kind of suffering that has to be. Should there be such suffering that I'll think that tomorrow there will be nothing to eat in the world? You see, in Russia, very serious problems already started. They don't have any potatoes, the #1 product. Otherwise, a person never thinks about any of these things. You have to nonetheless, those who know, understand, we have to think more about others and to disseminate this teaching as quickly as possible about the ecological equilibrium, about the ecological, spiritual, general equilibrium. Well, that's the ambush. You say that we have to disseminate internally, not externally. Internally and externally. Why ambush? No ambush. There is nothing unexpected awaiting us. We have to do it, and that's that.